Hello and welcome back to Troubadour Reacts. Today I'm going to be reacting to Ren Seven Sins. And this comes from a comment from my comment section. So I do read those. I try to respond as much as I can. So thank you so much. I'm really excited in the new year to explore more music, more of Ren, but also more of other authors and musicians out there. So please keep the comments coming. Help me find great artists that I can explore as a musically challenged person who loves literature and drama and all these classical things. And I'm trying to get more caught up on contemporary music in particular. Now, if you don't know, I do have a translation right over there of the Iliad. This is for first-time readers. So if you've never read the Iliad, if you're interested in it, and now there's a Christopher Nolan movie coming out for the Odyssey, which I'm working on a translation for that now. If you want to support, go to troubadour.studio/Iliad, check that out. And I now have a coupon for all the things on my website, troubadour.studio. It's just Troubadour Reacts, and that's for me. This is my personal website. I hope you check it out. I'm also doing live seminar discussion groups of the Iliad and the Odyssey and other literature and poetry and drama and things of that nature. You get 15% off any of that with this coupon, so I hope you will join me, and I hope to see you in a future seminar. But let's get into why you're all here, for enjoying the wonderful modern bard and artist of Ren Gill. Oh. Is this? Oh, all right. Oh. So, is this Scottish, Irish? I apologize for my ignorance of this language. Oh. That's such a cool imagery. It's really...
I lay broken on the kitchen floor. I clawed at the laminate. Pain wandered my body, an uninvited guest. Bones of a home where the devil could rest. I cursed the gods, cursed my messiah, cursed my maker. I cursed all of creation. There I lay, feeble and thin. Sick boy, 7 sins. Have you ever felt pain? Stomach wrenching, unrelenting. Tell me, have you ever felt pain? Condescending, muscles clenching. Tell me, have you ever felt pain? A rose emerges from the pavement cracks. They'll write my eulogy with broken glass.
That's Tupac.
Pain. Pain the author, I accept this. Pain the teacher, bruised apprentice. Pain resisting, pain will come. Pain the mother, I'm the son. Pain that splits you, and too many hits you. The dark and the light will converge to one. Pain that twists you, the heavens dismiss you. The Father, the Ghost, and the Holy Son. Body bagging me. Zip it up quick, at their things on B. I search for peace in the belly of a beast. Sick boy on a Metaphysical. Running up a fever, following a leader. Wanna be me, huh? Grass isn't greener. Bright lights, seizure, dynamite dealer. Dine at the table at the coroner. E-top for 13 years and I've been feeling so stuck. Lucky number 13, just my luck. Empires tumble, rubble and dust. The universe shrinks and the planets combust. In God we trust. God tied a noose to his neck and he walked to the edge and he jumped. Angels wept, I bear witness, watching the whole thing unfold from my bed. A bed where I never deep rest. A bed where I'm always depressed. A bed with the human oppressed.
We've all been
a
there.
bed for a tomb where I slept. A bed in the room that's a womb for this mess. Sick boy bitten by a tick boy. Tell me how it feels to be buried while you breathe.
I know what that means now.
Pain is a gift, boy. Hard to make a stand when you crawl on your knees and I kneel.
For him.
I kneel at the altar of my own disease and I beg this guy for mercy. Mercy never came. I did me dirty, 33 and hurting, cursing. Jesus died at 33 and still my sins are lurking. Gears are turning, future stays uncertain. Surgeon incision, murder ambition. Fear of the
so much.
Deserves a religion. Denounced the gods when my body went missing. Back then, the pain spray ricochet like a Mac 10. Hot lead hit the bed that was trapped in. Red wings, seraphim out of God's grace. Cried tears from heaven like Clapton. Stick pins in the voodoo Hendrix. Thick skin, stay humble Kendrick. Stay skeptic, check the biometrics. Bloodstained crime scene forensic. Lights on, lights out.
The beat is nice.
So down, running from the silhouette of self-doubt. By now, really should have figured this shit out. Lights on, lights out.
I feel like that all the time. Should feel it out. Why haven't I figured it out?
John got shot for attention. What did I tell you about the good intentions? Bitterness formed in aggression. Prophets get dropped, imagining heaven. Martin Luther, Mahatma, Dad, 6-6, followed by 6 and 7. Build and praise and bury them dead. I was born to be half a man with half a chance. My heart isn't half life is half is down and half a gram. Half those troubles and thoughts stay darker than
trying to keep up.
Master plan. Sharper than glass shards, splinter and cinnamon. Cinnamon irony could kill a man. Pain makes money when the music lands. Expand, pay me my cheese, rain down parmesan. Followed by 7 whole sins for a self-made Armageddon. Sin 1, pride. Pride makes a man kill a man for its ego to survive. Sin 2, lust. Lust makes the grass look greener. Crucifies trust. Sin 3, gluttony. Humans consume and consume. Planet Earth gets a frontal lobotomy. 4, sloth. Rinse and repeat. Reruns, repeat, time lost. Sin 5, envy. That's when one man's win is another man's frenzy. Sin 6, wrath, rage, vengeance, killers, psychopath. Sin 7, greed. Greed plants a seed that will destroy us all if we succumb to greed. If we take what we need, then take more than we need, then our oceans will bleed. Still we feed and we sleep and repeat. Then we exile the shepherds and follow the sheep. We inherit the meat. We inherit this world that we bruise and we beat. We inherit this vanity, circles of creeds. Inherit the liars, the murderous thieves. One sin for every one day of the week.
Wow. That was a lot. I am looking forward to digging into this. As you may know, if this is your first time, I have a literature writing background. So what I like to do is I like to go through the lyrics a little bit more carefully. I'm not going to do a full analysis, but just a couple things that I noticed and try to extract a little bit of the literary juice and you know, because especially Ren in particular is so connected to the literature past of the last several thousand years. So I'm going to take a break here, listen to it a couple more times, and come back with a couple of insights. All right, we are back. I've now listened to the song a couple of times, actually. I've gone through it. I mean, one of my challenges with Ren is that he has so many references. And I think there's things that are clearly either he's doing it on purpose or he's just so immersed in the, you know, canonical, traditional ways of understanding the Western world and the whole world through words and art that it just comes out and he just doesn't even know it, which I think is probably part of it. But there's just so many different things that he talks about. First, I just wanted to point out that the intro language obviously is Welsh. I should have known that, but I didn't. First, I have heard Welsh before, but I just didn't register at the time. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about specifically. Here's one moment. So this whole imagery at the beginning where he talks about his, you know, experience in agonizing pain. He later talks about the Lyme disease, I think, or he references the tick. But he doesn't specifically, I don't think, mention Lyme disease. It's more about, it's almost like a metaphysical pain. It's a deep pain because he often will put it into the realm of the gods, which if you're talking about gods, it's like a soul pain, not just the pain of the body. And I think he does a good job of that. Pain wandered my body. So like this whole idea of the pain wandered in, you know, kind of came into his body like an uninvited guest, probably because I'm immersed in Iliad right now, as I often am. But I really think of the plague arrows that begin the Iliad itself. And it's like this, it's described as this uninvited guest into the camp of the Greeks. And I just really thought of that when this uninvited guest, bones of a home where the devil could rest. And it, you know, it's a real evil that he's talking about. A lot of what Achilles and the Iliad is about is there's a line in book 1, grief came upon him, and that it's often written that way, where it's like it came to him and his, you know, he was divided or something happened to his body and his soul. And I think of that in a lot of the Iliad and the Odyssey and a lot of Greek work, where there really is this kind of view that the outside is where these diseases come from, where this, you know, and that a miasma or the plague, which the ancients would have thought of as this idea that, you know, what's happening is some kind of corruption in the world or in yourself that's leading to a problem of the body. And because they had no conception pre-Christianity of a dichotomy, of a separation between the mind and the body. So if something happened to your body, there must be something out of whack, essentially, in the cosmic order of the world or in yourself, and in your association with the world. And so I really thought of that when I was watching this. I really liked this section. We'll talk about this, but listen to this again.
Tell me, have you ever felt pain?
Right here.
A rose emerges from the pavement cracks. They'll write my eulogy with broken glass.
I don't know so I said this in the video itself, but what immediately struck me was the poem by Tupac Shakur, The Rose That Grew from Concrete. That I actually have his book of poetry, and I've done a bunch of Tupac videos, commentary. And this is an interesting parallel. And I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. I imagine he is. I'm sure he knows who Tupac is, so he might, be aware of this. Here's a quick little line from the poem that, maybe will make you think of this. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law is wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete, when no one else ever cared. Sounds very Ren-like in a lot of ways. Some other things that I thought of was, as I have with Ren a lot also, is William Blake, an 18th century romantic English poet. And, this was not just Ren, but a lot of the common romantic type of lyrics that are still existent in the world today. A lot of the kind of strong contradiction. So you think of it as irony, but like the rose that comes out of a concrete. William Blake said in The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, without contraries is no progression. And I think that contrary, that push and pull of life and society is where progression is, according to Blake. I don't know if Ren agrees with that quite, but still an interesting, important contrary idea that I see in Ren a lot. And there's another line that he says where he talks about, what's the line exactly? He says, they'll write my eulogy with broken glass. And man, that's a great line. And there's a tombstone it made me think of from the famous romantic poet, John Keats. He comes after William Blake. And the tombstone that he had written for himself, he died at 25 years old from a disease that he had from very early on. And it was, the tombstone said, here lies one whose name was writ in water. And, the idea of writing a eulogy with broken glass, like the pain that happens there, I just find the imagery, they're telling very different stories. The written water is about that he believed at the time of his death that his work, the poetry that he wrote, would not be known by anybody. Ren, I think, is talking about how the pain from his own life is going to be the legacy that he has, and people will be writing about that. And he, especially at the moment, that seems to be quite true. That's some good stuff here. So that again, that kind of contradiction. I seek for peace in the belly of the beast. I really like that. Ren is often doing what we can think of as wrestling with the inner beast, and he's trying to, bring some positivity and some joy out of it. And he creates art from the pain and the suffering that he has, which again, there's a lot of, long traditions about that. But this whole searching for peace in the belly of the beast, I mean, obviously he has lots of biblical references in there. There's a lot of Job. There's a lot of Bible. But I'm thinking right now that there's something about the Odyssey in that. And we lay hidden in the cave, waiting for death, as Odysseus says. And, it's that kind of, we're at the worst possible place. We're in the belly of the whale. And now we have to try to find our way out of this thing. Epics go into this all the time. I think it's a common of great poetry. So I saw some things that made me think of Sophocles' Oedipus Rex, where he, Ren makes reference to a bed for a tomb where I slept. There's a line in Rex, Oedipus the king, I stand revealed at last, cursed in my birth, cursed in my marriage. The idea of a bed for a tomb where I slept is, obviously there's Dracula kind of views, but I think what it's really referring to is just this, you can't escape the pain and suffering that he's gone through. And, that's what I think the theme of this story is. It really, what the poem or the lyrics were really making me think of as I was listening to this was the deep nihilism that many of us do sometimes go through, where we are angry at the world. And again, I think of the metaphysical anger. It's like it's angry at God. It's angry at everything. And we get a lot of that in our culture today. I think it leads to a lot of bad things. But what I think Ren is trying to do is trying to take that pain, and that's where the rose out of the concrete, out of the pavement kind of idea comes from, is like bringing some level of beauty into the world. That's what I hope he is trying to do, and what I hope other people are trying to do, because it's otherwise it's very scary. Nihilism always leads to great amounts of pain, suffering, and often it could be the impetus for revolution, for murder, for death and killing, which he talks a lot about in this. And I think there's a question of what can you do to get out of that. He has a lot of references to like John Lennon, Martin Luther, Mahatma Gandhi, and all these great men who were prophets, and they were talking about the future and how to make changes. He says that nothing changes. I think prophets die, but nothing seemed to change. There's a kind of cycle to these things. And Western literature repeatedly shows that kind of truth as well, that truth tellers are eliminated. Socrates was killed, and Ren is naming that same tragic pattern. The question is there a way out of that? I don't know if this song addresses it. What do you think? Do you think the song says there's a way out of this kind of nihilistic pain? I hope there is. There's what is Ren think? And this is only a 3-minute song, but he's, again, putting this in a powerful message that we all can resonate with, because many of us, even the most polyamorous, happy-go-lucky person who's always having every luxury and joy and pleasure in the whole world put on them, even they will have some amount of pain and suffering in their life. So this is such a universal video that Ren has created, a song that he has created. The opening makes me think of a kind of ancient lament that happens often in ancient poetry. Homeric, Jobin, it's tragic. Now, as I've said here, it doesn't seem to really say that there's any kind of healing possible. It asks us just to be witness and to acknowledge. Maybe empathy is the only way out of this, that we empathize, that we put ourselves in other people's shoes and try to understand. I mean, that could be part of it. I hope that there's more, because I don't think that is sufficient to overcome the kind of hatred that comes out of nihilism. Now, Ren does not show that. And I think, one thing that it makes me think of is really Moby Dick and Melville. And this is what I'll end with. It's just this kind of inheritance of ruin, that things are falling apart. The center cannot hold. We inherit this world that we bruised and we beat, is what that's a quote from Ren's song here. And Moby Dick, then all collapsed, and the great shroud of the sea rolled on as it rolled 5,000 years ago. So there's this nihilism where everything we value falls apart. The world has been beaten down. The world has beaten me down. And there's really no values. There's no reason to keep going and moving forward. So the question is, what do you do? Now, Melville's answer, I think, is a kind of heroism in the face of nihilism, that you do it just to do it. That because you are a heroic person, that's why you should take on this great challenge of life. Ren, I think in other places, might have songs about this. I haven't, you tell me, what do you think is what he's actually trying to advocate? Or is it just nihilism as such? I don't think so, because I see a lot of these romantic gestures in Ren, so I just cannot see him as just some nihilist. I think he is very romantic, but it's a kind of darkened romantics. And, the flip side of the romantic coin is Gothicism, is the darkness that is there as well. And, both the light and the dark are there. So what do you think? What is this all about? What is Ren saying in Seven Sins? Is it just we need to be aware of these sins and rise out of them? Or is there something else going on? Okay, thank you. And give me some more comments for some more videos for me to do on Ren and others as well.